Today I'll be showing you how to make a basic sentence in Arabic. Before we explain further, I want you to take a look at the following sentences. Mahmud is knowledgeable, Hamid is pious, Khalid is a conqueror. Now, if you notice, each of these sentences has two main characters. One is the subject, which is basically the thing or person you are talking about. Now, if you look at these sentences, each of these sentences is talking about someone in particular. The first sentence, for example, is essentially talking about Mahmud. So that will be the subject. The second sentence is essentially talking about Hamid. So Hamid becomes the subject of the second sentence. And likewise, the third sentence is talking about Khalid. So that is the subject of the third sentence. The second part of the sentence has to be what you are saying about the subject. This is known as the predicate. For example, in the first sentence, what you're saying about Mahmud is that he is knowledgeable. So knowledgeable here is the predicate of the first sentence. In the second sentence, what you're saying about Hamid is that he is pious, so therefore pious is the predicate. And in the third sentence, likewise, what you're saying about Khalid is that he is a conqueror. So conqueror becomes the predicate of the third sentence. In Arabic, the subject is called mubtadأ, and the predicate is known as the khabar. And make sure you keep these terminologies, mubtada and khabar, in mind, because that's what we're going to be using in the rest of the videos. If you want to translate a subject, predicate, or mubtada khabar sentence into Arabic, you only need to follow 3 simple steps. The first thing you need to do is take out the is. You see these is's, you need to take them out. The second thing you need to do is translate the remaining words into Arabic. And the third thing you need to do is give 2 dhammas to both of the words in the sentence. Alright, now that you know the 3 simple steps, let's try to apply them to the first sentence. Mahmud is knowledgeable. The first thing you are going to do is take out the is. The second thing you are going to do is you're going to translate the words into Arabic. Now Mahmud is going to stay as Mahmud because that's a name, right? But knowledgeable is going to be translated into Arabic. Knowledgeable in Arabic is alim. The third thing you're going to do is give 2 dhammas to both words. Obviously, when you write it, you're going to write in the usual Arabic right to left order. Mahmudun alimun. Mahmud is knowledgeable. Now let's jump on to the second sentence. Hamid is pious. The first thing you're going to do here is take out the is. The second thing you're going to do is translate the words into Arabic. Now Hamid will stay the same. But pious will be translated into salihun or salih. Finally, the third thing you're going to do is add 2 dhammas to both of the words. You'll write it like this. Hamidun salihun. Hamid is pious. Now let's do the same with the third sentence. Khalid is a conqueror. You're going to take out the a. We're also going to take out the a, and we'll explain that later why. Then we'll translate the words into Arabic. Khalid will stay as Khalid, and conqueror in Arabic is Fatih. And lastly, we will give the 2 dhammas to both of the words. And we'll write it in the same format. Khalidun Fatihun. Khalid is a conqueror. Now that you have learned how to make a basic nominal sentence in 3 steps, there are 3 power points you need to keep in mind at all times when making nominal sentences. Number 1. The first thing you need to understand is that there are 2 types of nouns, definite and indefinite. Either you talk about something in general or you talk about something specific. If you are talking about something in general, then you will use an indefinite noun. And if you talk about something specific, you will use a definite noun. In English, if you want to generalize something and make it indefinite, you use the articles a or an before that word. For example, a ball or an umbrella. For example, if you say, I saw a ball in the toy store, it could mean any random ball in general. Now, if you want to specify that word, you add the article the before the word. So if you say, I saw the ball I saw the ball in the toy store, you are referring to a specific ball that's in your head. So basically, if you want to make something definite, specify something, in English you use the word or the article the. In Arabic, if you want to keep something indefinite, meaning you want to keep it general, you don't add anything. For example, if you want to say a man in Arabic, all you have to do is translate man into Arabic. You don't need to add anything. Man in Arabic is rajulun. Rajulun by default means a man. But if you want to specify that word and make it definite, you use the article alif lam before that word. So if you want to say the man, in Arabic you'll say that by saying ar-rajulu. Now let's take the first example we discussed. Mahmud is knowledgeable, Mahmudun alimun. Let's say you want to say the man is knowledgeable. All you have to do is swap Mahmud with ar-rajulu, the man. Ar-rajulu alimun, the man is knowledgeable. To put everything into one simple sentence, wherever you use the word a or an in English, you don't replace it with anything in Arabic. But when you use the article the in English, all you have to do is replace it with an alif lam at the beginning of the word when translating into Arabic. Number 2. The second thing you need to keep in mind is that you can never have an alif lam and a tanween at the same time. Meaning that you can't have an alif lam at the beginning of the word and a tanween at the last letter of that word at the same time. You can never say ar-rajulun. It just doesn't work like that. If there is an alif lam, there cannot be any tanween on the same word. Number 3. The third thing you need to know is if the mubtada is feminine, then the khabar has to be feminine in Arabic. How do you make the khabar feminine? Simple, just add a round ta to the end of the khabar. For example, let's say you want to say the woman is pious in Arabic. What are you going to do? The first thing you're going to do is remove the translate the word, add an alif lam to the mar'ah, which means woman, and finally add the round ta to the end of salih. In the end, you put the 2 dhammas on the last letters of both the words. Well, not both the words, only salihatun, because there's no alif lam. Since there is an alif lam on the mar'ah, al-mar'ah, and alif lam and tanween cannot go together, there can be no tanween on al-mar'ah. When you write the whole sentence, al-mar'atu salihatun, you will write it like this. Al-mar'atu salihatun, the woman is pious. Now let me give you a brief summary of the whole lesson. The first thing we learned is if you want to translate a nominal sentence, the first thing you do is take out the is, then translating the remaining words into Arabic, and then lastly give 2 dhammas to both words in the sentence. Then we mentioned 3 power points. The first thing we learned is that if you want to convert a word beginning with the into Arabic, you just translate the word and add an alif lam to the beginning. The second thing we learned is that you can never ever have an alif lam and a tanween at the same time on one single word. The third thing we learned is that if the mubtada is feminine, then the khabar has to be feminine. And the way to make a khabar feminine is just to add a round ta to the end of the word. Now that you've learned the basics, it's time for you to fill your brain with some vocab. Now here we have 3 word tables, this being the first one. I'll be pronouncing each word so that you know how to say them. If you already know how to pronounce words in Arabic, you don't need to listen to me pronouncing the words. Just mute the video and focus on the words. You can memorize the words by pausing the video on a list of words like this and repeating them to yourself. If you prefer hard copies over soft copies, you can always take a screenshot of the word table and print it out for learning purposes. And by the way, this applies to all vocab-based videos. Make sure you know the words memorized before proceeding on to the next video. So now let's get started. Abun, aba'u, ummun, ummahatun, ibnun, abna'u, waladun, awladun, bintun, banatun, ammun, a'mamun, ammatun, عمات عمات، خال أخوال، خالة خالات، أخ إخوان إخوة، أخت أخوات، جد أجداد، جدة جدات، حفيد أحفاد حفدة، حفيدة رجل رجال، امرأة نساء، طفل أطفال، طفلة، قوي أقوياء، ضعيف ضعفاء، ثلج بارد، ماء مياه، عذب صغير، سمين، صالح صلحاء، عابد عباد، ذكي أذكياء، عاقل عقلاء، مجتهد مجتهدون، جميل شاكر شاكرون، صادق صادقون، رب نبي أنبياء، رسول رسل، صراط مستقيم، مسلم مسلمون، الإنسان عبد عباد، قائد قوادة قواد قادة، شجاع كريم كرام، الساعة آتية، مؤدب ورحيم، ذاهب عالم علماء.